I'm in Konya, which is a part of Anatolia, and being a part of Anatolia, it's been a bit of a central situation, so it's a central area of Turkey. Behind me is the shrine and a museum known as Mevlana Museum, which has 750 years old. Here he's the burial ground of the famous Persian poet Muhammad Jalaluddin Muhammad Rumi, which is also famous as Rumi. His philosophies have been very much been cherished in this part and even in the Western world. He talked about a lot of philosophies, and his philosophy was creating a divine relationship with the God Allah, and the concept and this museum learning center started the concept of Sufism, which is known as Darweshi, and the whirling dance, which is a very famous part of the history and culture of in Turks, is the connection of this thing, and the dance is similar, and it moves here, and this part is considered as a part that flows the energy and the knowledge to another one, and that circulates and creates the concept. The concept behind the Darweshi is, for example, if you have something, you keep on giving it, and then it goes till the end. For example, you have got a pyramid of glasses, you pour water on the top, it goes all the way down to the last one, and that's what the concept of learning, education, and sharing information is, and wealth as well. So this is what it is, and across it is a large gigantic mosque made here, which people come here and pray. And here is the train, and a new structure has been developed. Maybe it's going to be the education center, and across is Konya's cultural tanzim. So the square is beautiful. It's a learning place. I will take you inside the museum, where we will have a quick look into it. This is the fountain, and the concept which I was talking about, Rumi, that the water that falls in this pool is being dwelled through these taps, and that is how the knowledge circulates in him, that he had the knowledge and he wanted his knowledge to be shared there. And now we are going to enter the Mevlana Museum, where his burial ground is also there. This basically is the Darweshian gate. In Turkish it's known as Bapsi. If you look closely, you will find that they had the Arabic way of writing, but when the modern Turkey of Atatürk started, he converted the writing from the Arabic style to the Latin style, and now they write their words in Latinic form rather than the Arabic. This started in 1928. I have entered the Mevlana Museum, and I'm walking through. Now there are certain parts which have been under renovation, but you can take an audio from here. A small coffee shop is there, and then let me walk you inside and show you a few things around. As you enter the Mevlana Museum, you will see these graves. Unfortunately, they have not been marked, but they have come out in a restoration, and these graves go back to 800-900 years. So they're not being marked, but they're here. This part has got graves, which is marked as mother's graveyard, and this has these were the females, the mothers and the daughters and the wives of the people who came here to study, and this Mevlana Lounge was technically an educational center, which during the modern Turk time was converted into a museum. Here Sufism and Darweshi knowledge was shared, and the true concept and the divine concept developed. Here, the training concept was there. This is the shrine of Mevlana Jalaluddin Muhammad Rumi. This is the entrance of the center of education. As we enter, you can see the relics which are hundreds of years of old. This is an excellent piece of structure, the gate and the door of the lounge. The lounge was basically used for teaching purposes, eventually converted into a museum. As you enter, this is a shrine and the tombs of Mevlana and his family members and the students who studied here. And if you look at the far end, that is Mevlana's grave. This is a structure, but technically they are around 1.5 meter underground, and these structures have been developed by them. When you come here, you will see the graves of different people. This basically is a kind of a pot which was sent by a Persian king. It goes up to 1327 AD, very old, where the water collected and dwelled in. Jalaluddin Muhammad Rumi was a Persian, and he came in this area to settle, and eventually his father passed away, and that grave right next to the Maulana's is his father's grave. And when he passed away, he settled down, and eventually this is where the actual concept of Sufism and Darweshi started. So here you will find graves which has his family members. Right next to him is his father, and then his family, wives, and everybody are being buried here. His son was the person who initially started this launch to a higher level, and he's been buried here as well, which you can see here. The structure goes back to 13th century. So this is technically a piece of art, something which you cannot find it that easily across, and you enjoy and cherish the things Maswani display. As I have repeated again, the Turkish language was the Arabic style of writing, which eventually changed by the modern Turkey. Ataturk changed it, and this is the Nefeli, the clothes, and this is Maulana Mevlana, shoulder strap belonging to Mevlana in the 13th century. This is more than 700-800 years old, and these are the pots. This is the place where he kept reading desks. Eventually you can see the clothes. It is history being written here. Obviously, then eventually Konya became a part of the Ottoman Empire, and then a lot of changes have happened, and even the Ottomans respected it. This is the place where he taught people the teaching of Sufism and Darweshas. The Holy Quran, written in 1797. You can see the calligraphic, the school which basically was there. this was written in 1314. So these are things which are looking at it, which are not now, but 700-800 years old. And these were the places where they sat and talked. So everything in this place is unique. It has got things which words cannot explain, and the peace and the sound which dwells here brings peace to a person. I would recommend that people should visit this place once in their lifetime to understand what is Sufism, what is Darweshi, how things are there, and believe me, it is history which should be learned. And cherished. The concept of Sufism. This is the knowledge well, the concept. And here it has the knowledge inside, which is being referred as water, and it's filled, and the fountain sprinkles. That was the concept, but obviously it's not working at the moment. And this is where the knowledge comes and becomes a part of you. This is what was the Sufism concept, the Darweshi concept, which Jalaluddin Muhammad Rumi brought in. There are a lot of sayings, and I would love that if you get an opportunity, you should go and read about him. This is 750 years back knowledge. When you come out of the shrine, these are the places where they used to live and study, and this section is the kitchen where food was made for Mevlana and his students and everybody. So obviously it has been restructured, but this is the food being cooked for the students, and they used to eat and do the whirling dance and study. Eventually, when you come out of this section, there are various places for accommodation purposes made for them, which they used to live here. That is where these are not large rooms, but they basically were Mevlana's time for rest and study. Eventually, when you come out, you will see the other rooms, and it's a museum where you can read the history and the clothes and the scripts being written by him, and everything dates back to 14th century. So it is a part of history. There's no entrance fee. This is all free. You can come here and visit this place. People come here for prayer purposes. People come here for things. So each and every room has its own this thing, and with 750 years of its presence, the concept is that it dwell to an extent and provided information. But eventually, obviously, when I told you earlier that in 1928 it basically changed. This is the concept again which I'm talking about. So here, when the water is there, it pours on the 2, and then it goes on the 3, and then it pours on the, and eventually it goes to a larger pot. And that is what was the philosophy of Sufism. That was the philosophy of Darweshi, sharing knowledge, sharing your wealth, sharing everything. Because eventually in the end, you are not going to take anything with you. Everything will remain in this world. So it is better to share your knowledge, share your wisdom, share your wealth with people, so that when you are no longer there, they remember you. The dance takes an individual to a trance where he basically knows himself with Allah, God, the divine force, and then this link basically creates the peace which an individual desires.